Much of what came in between now was a little bit sticky and not to the script, and certainly marked a little bit of a climb back from what was a really good first day out here against Benetton when they were hugely physical, really carried the fight to their Italian opponents. They look to start strong out of the blocks here this evening. It will be physical, fast and furious, and that's what the Bulls bring.
Bulls use it, start inside, back foot,
produce more in the way of attacking cohesion than they produced in Belfast last week. The first two games of the season were absolutely electrifying, almost 100 points and 15 tries. Now then, speaking of all things electric, buzz of anticipation as Mack Hansen finds himself under the high ball for the first time this evening. Peter Dooley into that much changed Connacht front row this evening on the loose head side, the man from Offaly. Caolin Blade back in an Ireland squad, having been overlooked across the summer, perhaps to get some test match experience into the likes of Ben Murphy and others. Knock-on advantage for the home side here. Josh Ioane back in harness with the difference that he brings in terms of carrying that ball flat to the gain line. First with a carry and anger too for Bundee and Josh Murphy, who finds himself with number 6 on his back tonight. Ralston, good hands. Dave Heffernan, support arriving. Ralston again. There's lots of physicality in this Connacht side. You think of the power that Shayne Bolton brings off that wing as well. Bundee, Ralston.
Timing fine.
And then the arch finisher on the far side, Chay Mullins. Impressive continuity and purpose without any real semblance of penetration as of yet, and then it almost arrives with that little neat tuck pass from Josh Ioane to his captain Cian Prendergast, who couldn't quite hold it. Here is the aforementioned speedster. Chay Mullins really announced himself to the Dexcom crowd on debut with a hat-trick of tries in the Challenge Cup last season around Christmas time against Zebra. Mack Hansen always strikes. He's the kind of player who doesn't really need a warm-up match to get up to full tilt, and he certainly started like that. Flurry of touches in the opening 2 minutes or so here. A short line again for Josh Murphy, David O'Connor and Darragh Murray in the engine room this evening. No real progress, so from halfway, the up and under from Caolin Blade's not dealt with cleanly. Villy LaRue, even when he's under pressure, looks cool in the Connacht style, fast experience that he brings to the table. That's the former DHL Stormers man, Paul Devet, in at scrum half this evening with Ambrose Papier on the bench. We've played almost 3 minutes ball in play time, much of it in the Bulls half of the field and in Connacht possession. It's a bright start, Gavin.
It's a great start, and thankfully you get a breath as well, Connor, because it was helter-skelter there. I think we're seeing two teams hurting from results and more importantly performances last weekend, and huge physicality right from the offset from both sides. Men like Bundee carrying hard, David Heffernan, but then someone like Wessels and Kobe Visa making huge impacts on the other side of the ball as well, and both teams happy enough to keep the ball in play as well. Bulls with a very strong line-out. Connacht will be wary of that. And Connacht were a poor line-out last year, or this season, but one of the best in the league last year. Will want to get up to speed. So it'll be a fascinating game as to what way they approach it. Will they keep a ball in hand? Will they kick for touch every now and again? Or will they play that kick battle? And on the back of last week, Connacht will be wary of that kick battle because they came out second best to Cardiff, as you've already mentioned.
That's what I told them.
Precedent did almost level of kicking last week, almost out of nowhere as well, given how much Connacht showed an appetite to attack on week 1 against Benetton. Of course, the postponement of that game scheduled in round 2 against the Scarlets didn't help. Momentum killer of sorts.
Connacht! Was that 4-man, is it? 4.5. 4-man. 9.5. Get the gap.
Almost 12 months since the Bulls were last in town in Galway. 28 points to 14 winners, double scores in the most recent head-to-head encounter. Now that little bit of game variance that Johan Ackerman likes his sides to play with, he encourages that freedom to make decisions on the hoof. Certainly the Ospreys in Leinster came out on the wrong side of that in the opening couple of weeks on the high veld at Loftus. Different though, and difficult when you come on tour to the Northern Hemisphere. First real mistake Sebastian Leclerc out on the full.
Yeah, and again, a little bit of kick tennis. Sebastian Leclerc, seeing the space was open on the right-hand side, it was actually a good decision. And a night like tonight, when the flags are as good as still as you get in this part of the world, not much of a win to talk about. That's just a missed kick, miscue off the right side of the boot. But Connacht can't prosper on it, or they've just got the knock on.
Got knocked forward onto his head.
And they'll get the scrum after all.
That line out well and truly under the microscope.
Great pressure from Bulls, getting 2 in the air. Huge pressure on David Heffernan then to try and thread the eye of the needle.
A good read from Cobus
Control the weight. Control the weight.
Back in South Africa, former Stormers man, of course, spent 3 or 4 years at Seal Sharks in the Premiership.
Crouch.
Connacht threats all over the park here now. Shayne Bolton hiding in behind with Josh Ioane. They favoured going down the left-hand side, blind side, over the last 12 months or so, using the pace of Josh Ioane to exploit any weaknesses there.
Bigger gap. Okay.
But then you have someone like Bundee as well, loitering on the right-hand side. So
I think we're already pretty head on shoulders. Let's try and keep head.
Decisions
Let's try
to
and
be
keep ear
made.
to ear on the crouch, and then control the weight on the bind.
Come on now, let's go. Let's
Let's see if we can get a completed scrum to see what Connacht have in mind out the back. On the reset, always in danger of a free kick. Connacht certainly would take a penalty on the progress down the pitch. That would take them.
Set!
Straight down.
Soft
Going the other way. Free kick Bulls.
Yeah, part and comment as well by Wessels, just prompting the referee perhaps for the next scrum as well to be watching out for Connacht just lying in, not taking the hit.
First start of the season for the Springbok in the middle of that front row. Having been heavily used across the Rugby Championship by Rassie Erasmus, but always as a replacement in off the bench. Josh Ioane was so bright day one against Benetton. Sweeping past this time off the left hand of Mack Hansen, all the way out to Mullins on that far side. There's those big collisions again, right on the gain line that Stuart Lancaster is demanding his side come out on top on. Kicks a little deep. Willie Leroux now just pops it away to Keegan Johannes. In at number 10 this evening. Now Johan Hussen, of course, and as I mentioned, Andre Pollard now back in South Africa. There's that crossfield kick, the short kick on the bounce. Takes it just momentarily away from Caolin Moody. Half a sniff of an opportunity for Shayne Bolton. Here's Leroux again. Throwing those passes around and using the boot as well. Element of risk and reward. They're playing a lot of rugby inside their own 22 here. This time the pass does go to hand to that 5-metre channel. It's a little bit of an aimless errant kick in field straight to Josh Ioane. Spots the space in the backfield. Oh, he's measured that perfectly, has he? Absolutely on a sixpence.
He was in Bull's half when he kicked it.
He measured it to a sixpence, but I think he got his footwork wrong in terms of the opportunity for the 50-20. He just crossed the halfway line. Yeah, I just measured it to perfection, but I said he could have profited from 50-20. Really Leroux, though, what a lovely little crossfield kick. You can see him in the backfield all the time, scanning, getting in behind the forwards, being a second option, and that's something that Connacht will have to be wary of, because he's a lovely little show and go, he's a lovely little link play, but he also has that kicking game as well that can just open up the backfield.
Snaffled up here by Dave Heffernan, looking to profit. Both sides line out. A work in progress so far. Progressing straight through the middle. Josh Murphy, Caolin Blade, oh, there was nobody home. Pillars marked absent. Caolin Blade then is brought back. Sean Jansen. Under pressure from Wilco Low now then. Do Connacht have the engine power to come around the corner, find a soft shoulder. Cian Prendergast is very close, promising position. This is a Bulls hand in there all over. It looks like Jan-Hendrik Wessels.
Number 2.
Here on the referee's mic, cynical in the extreme, right on the try line.
Number
straight
2
through, off his feet, Jan-Hendrik Wessels.
Mix up the line out there. Nobody from the Bulls side got up in the air at all. Connacht probing then through Josh Murphy. Caolin Blade had a bit of a snipe as well. It was kind of like Mugs Alley. The door quickly got shut on him.
Connacht looked to prize it open with a blunt-edged sword here. So often Jansen is the man now. They don't want to pile drive all the way over and be held up with that forest of bodies. Time for a little bit of composure, no white line fever. It was Dooley who took it on. Here's Finlay Bealham on his return to the side. Can he make a big impact? Wrestling and wrangling. Wrestled to the floor. Blade now has options. Ioane with Mack Hansen outside and may not need him. Through he goes. Josh Ioane finishes off with a plum for Connacht. Ships a little bit of a late hit in the in-goal area for his troubles. But the early season signs from that man entrusted with the 10 jersey look very promising indeed.
Yeah, and Connacht will be delighted with that. It all came back to the missed line out from the Bulls. Connacht put the pressure on, went for the tap and go. And then Josh Ioane, this is what he's so strong at. Great running game, good speed off the mark from a 10, not afraid to exploit those little half doors that are open. Can he add the 2 now and extend it out to 7?
Try after only 8 minutes of round 1 here against Benetton. On the roster, 10 minutes in.
We've got a shot clock anywhere? There's nothing in this stadium.
Minimum of fuss. Through it goes, full of conviction. So he's accounted for the opening 7 points.
Yeah, you can see Mack Hansen as well was instrumental to that, just creating a little bit of indecision within the Bulls' backline. He swung from right over to the left-hand side.
Sorry guys, we don't have a shot clock just now. There's no shot clock just now. Not just now. What's that? Yeah, I'll only find out just now.
Back to the stopwatch.
Yep. Josh Ioane was under no pressure whatsoever, so a bright start for Connacht. Always interesting to see how these new combinations will fare out. And those Lions players, of course, back in harness for a number of weeks now. Slowly integrated under the management of minutes system. We'll be straight away on Ireland duty after this evening before we get to round 5. Philly LaRue now rides the tackle really well of Shayne Bolton. Kanan Moody a long way in from his right wing, and he releases the electrifying Sebastien de Klerk. Beautifully done in the blink of an eye. Connacht's lead is wiped out. Paul de Vet crashes in and the scrum half runs that lovely inside support line, but how easy was it for Sebastien de Klerk? We've seen it so many times already this season. He was brilliant against Leinster. He's the architect, the finisher, Paul de Vet.
Oh, but how good was Philly LaRue there as well, catching the ball on the touchline. Quick feet, bit of a spin, got away from the danger zone, and then great Lincoln play here. Kanan Moody, just like he did this time last year in the same fixture, he was a handful.
To do with the try. Talk to me
and then, like every good 9, falling up on the inside.
Thank you.
And that's Bulls at their very, very best. They might be shipping tries, but they're scoring them at the other end as well, which counts for a lot.
14 tries conceded and 99 points before this evening in 3 matches. You've got to score plenty of points if you're going to be that profligate at the other end in defence.
Sorry, what you wanted to say? Don't come walking towards me when he's setting up front.
Connacht 7. The Bulls 5.
They made it look easy, didn't they? Just ball in 2 hands, picking the right option.
Okay, I didn't know all of them from
2 on 1.
Yeah, will do.
Finished very well.
I understand.
A straightforward conversion passed up on an evening when the bookmakers fancy it will be very, very tight, very hard to call, so every point could tell in the final analysis.
Inside. Okay, Bulls,
scored a try against Connacht in the URC semi-final for the DHL Stormers a few seasons back, if memory serves. Paul de Vet on the mark tonight into the side, and course in place of Zach Berger. Now, did that go forward for Mack Hansen? There's your answer.
Was that just a good contest, I thought? Knock on.
Oh yeah, it was his ball to win, wasn't it? He got up the highest off the chest.
Just do me a favour when you're positioning the ball.
He's got to cradle that into his chest a little bit softer.
Understand, yeah.
Talking about that Paul Devette try a few years back for the Stormers against Connacht. You think back to when the Bulls were in town shortly after Mack Hansen arrived, and that try he scored over on the far side when he fielded a high ball not dissimilar to that, and it looked as though he beat everybody in a Bulls shirt for an unbelievable try over on the other side. The place was going absolutely crazy.
Hard to believe at that stage, people looking at each other going, who's this fella? Yeah. Who's this new kid on the block? Mack Hansen, where's he from? And how his career has just kicked off from then.
It's a big, strong set piece. We expect to see that, even with that much changed front row from the Bulls, with the power they have, the likes of Steenekamp and Krobler on the bench, but not losing much with Wessels and Ioane and Vilko Low. Brilliant scrummager.
Yeah, the power comes through that 8. No one has won more penalties than the Bulls so far this season in the set piece, particularly the scrum. And this gives them a great platform then to get off the line out, where they've been so proficient as well in terms of scoring tries. No one has scored more tries off the line out, so this is their game in a nutshell. Dominant set piece, really creative off lineouts.
I thought your elbow was quite down from the start.
Interesting to hear Johan Ackerman amidst that whirlwind of criticism and the fallout from the game in Belfast against Ulster say, look, it takes players a long time. The muscle memory of playing a certain system for 4 or 5 years can't be reversed overnight, but they still have the wherewithal to go to that strong set-piece based game that Jake White was famed for. It's not all guns blazing, all out attack. They do like to sling it wide, as you can see, into the hands of Caolin Moody and others. But the foundation is that strong scrum and the line out.
Not now!
Devette standing at first receiver. Willie Leroux contestable over onto that far side, clutched out of the sky by Wessels of all people, and quickly recycled. Paul Devette back inside now to Namakaba. Interesting to see him get his chance in the absence of Marco van Staden on that blind side flank. Willie Leroux now beginning to pull the strings and really purr, and then it's straight into the face, I think, of Shayne Mullins. No way through. Not the first time of asking for Keegan Johannes in that number 10 shirt. Manufactured into a fly half from scrum half really midway through last season. Paid really good dividends. Handling error this time on account of the pressure being applied from that defensive line of Connacht.
It is, but they're getting through the phases. They're probing both sides of the field, and again it's between Devette and Willie Leroux pulling the strings. It's brilliant to see from up here, just Willie Leroux's movement off the ball. He's sweeping over and back, and he looks like a man who's so much time. He's just in behind the second line. He's given himself so much depth. So when he gets the ball, he's looking around. He's a pass option, he's a run option, he's a kick option. We're only 17 minutes in yet, but you can see his class shining through so far.
Paul Devette looks like a very shrewd signing for the Vodacom Bulls.
Yeah, he wants to progress and get more opportunities with the South African national side. He's in behind Reinach and Herschel Genties in the Stormers, so it's really shrewd bit of business by the Bulls to get him across here, hungry for more success.
Huge hang time and height on that. Kick chase was good, led by the speed of Mullins.
Backfield, let it go! You're off your feet!
Josh Murphy is not giving up on anything, and then there's a little bit of a tangle on the floor.
Time off, come here. Go.
Something has irked Josh Murphy, and then he's clearly reacted.
Take that, sir. Okay. Okay. No, it wasn't. Okay. I understand what you said. I will check that. Okay. But listen. What you did is unacceptable. I will put everything on, but you come and speak to you after. Okay, Holly. Okay, I've got an allegation of a grab in the groin area. I also want to look at the actions of the no-numbered player at the head of the Bulls player.
I was wondering how he's going to phrase that. But it's pretty clear, I think, from what the Connacht players are saying, particularly Josh Murphy.
So reaction. There seems to be a reaction of what happened.
We're just getting the angles now, Mike.
By the Connacht player, so we're looking for pretty much a grab to the groin, and then a reaction after that.
So the TMO, Holly Davidson, will be privy to all the angles. I'm not sure how many we're allowed to show, depending on just how bad this may or may not be. But clearly you could see Josh Murphy immediately incensed by something. There's the left arm.
Is it Wessels, I think?
Yeah.
Perhaps is the...
We're going to roll this right back to the start, Mike.
Yeah.
We'll see from that angle. Because straight away you're thinking, Josh Murphy, what have you done? Like, the ball is lost, leave it alone. But he gets up and he remonstrates straight away to the referee, saying I wouldn't have done it unless I'd been injured first.
It's the left arm here of Wessels. And it goes there, and that brings the reaction. He started this game in combative mood, Jan-Hendrik Wessels. Remember, he was the one who gave away the cynical penalty on the try line a few moments ago, and then subsequent to Josh Ioane scoring, he was also the player who left a little bit on him in the in-goal area.
Let's keep them away.
It's a tricky one for the officials because
we can see if it's an open camera.
We don't get a brilliant camera angle to reveal it, but the suggestion is that something untoward has gone in there based on the reaction of the player. Is that enough to incriminate Jan-Hendrik Wessels?
I'm taking it we're not seeing anything from...
Even if you just go back a frame, Josh Murphy makes contact to the head there as well, so
yeah.
Will that get picked up? But certainly something untoward happened to Josh Murphy to react like that, and it immediately brings the referee's attention as well. So
we're looking at... Yeah. So we see 6 around the neck. That would be nothing more than a penalty.
Agree.
So just keep it rolling. I just want to see when we've got the green no number. We're looking at strike to the face now. We're trying to determine the level of force and the degree of danger with that strike.
Yeah, getting those angles now, Mike. So we've got initially 6 white around the neck.
So he's round the neck, so that would be a penalty.
Yeah.
But we're now going to focus on green because that's going to be higher than the arm around the neck.
So they seem to be dismissing what Josh Murphy has claimed.
Yeah.
And now looking at his reaction.
Yeah. And you've got to say that's based on the fact that they can't see it on a camera angle to say conclusively that there was an untoward action by
the degree of
Jan-Hendrik Wessels.
You got to say, though, there has to be something in it. Players don't ordinarily react like that. But it's very hard for the referee when you can't see it. And for Holly Davidson as the TMO.
So
that's just a flap of the hand as well.
High degree of force with that strike. So I'm seeing that as a deliberate foul play action with that high level of force to the head.
Yeah, it's going to be a yellow card. If it is, you've got to say it is.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Holly?
I'm not seeing as a high degree of danger, Mike.
Okay. So we're not seeing the high degree of danger, so we're seeing it meets the yellow card threshold.
Agree.
Holly, because you've not got Hawkeye, am I making this decision now?
Correct.
Okay. No number. Oh, sorry, number. Yeah. Okay, I have a decision. We have looked at your allegation, but there's no evidence of that allegation. What we do, I understand. What we do see is you striking to the head. We're not seeing that as a common red card, but because we do not have the Hawkeye facility just now, I'm making the decision, and it's going to be a 20-minute red card.
It's a red card.
I thought he had downgraded it there a second ago from Holly Davidson's comment.
Balls there. And also, there's a neck roll there as well.
we spoke about the neck roll, and that would be a penalty. I understand it would be a penalty.
Josh Murphy.
But that was supersedes it.
Well, I think Holly Davison came in and said, I don't see the high degree of danger or force there, so I thought maybe a yellow card at most, a talking to, a warning, and brought players, both players brought in for a chat. Well, a 3-minute red card seems excessive.
So that red card essentially brought in to try and bring down the amount of acts of foul play and violent foul play. I'm not sure how that doesn't meet yellow card threshold. Bunker review, off-field review with the potential to be upgraded, having gone through the various angles. Certainly we've got to have an element of sympathy, as unwise as his actions were, Josh Murphy, to what just transpired there for Connacht. But that's a massive flashpoint in the game. Huge moment. Can the Bulls now capitalise? Mullins to Mack Hansen.
Leave it now.
Can Connacht, if there is a sense of some injustice out there, use that to their advantage? Plenty to unpack, and you can see why they got to the decision. They simply couldn't see what transpired prior to that. Now they've got to try and put the shackles on this man. Brilliantly back inside from Sebastian Clerc, and it's an immediate response to being up a player. Billy LaRue just cruises in to that far corner, and it's two similar tries where the Bulls are cutting wide open this Connacht defence with some ease.
Yeah, and it came from another counter-attacking piece of magic from Billy LaRue. Stands up Bundee.
It was quite far away, I think.
Draws him in, half a gap. Backs it up on the inside as well. But Connacht, I think, were just rattled by that decision with Josh Murphy. I'm not too sure they got their heads back in the game. And similar to 12 months ago when they had Sean Jansen sent off after 21 minutes, the Bulls have capitalised.
Don't worry. TMO check.
TMO is sweeping in the background as we prepare for Johannes with this kick. Much more difficult than his first effort. That's a really good attempt. No, it's a brilliant strike.
Conversion for Bulls.
Superb conversion, so it's the full complement.
Connacht 7, Bulls 12.
Just the timing of the pass there by Billy LaRue. Squared up Bundee, ball in two hands. Put Sebastian Leclerc away. Followed on his run. And he's the man that's making all the difference at the moment.
He looked a little bit out of sorts last week. As I said, came into the fray a lot sooner than he might have anticipated following that injury to Devine Williams in Belfast, but much more his usual self this evening.
Don't swing round!
So 2 tries to 1 and a man up. Mack Hansen, very little pitch in which to operate over on that far side, took it very comfortably. They just need a little spark. Focus on what's immediately in front of them, into the hands of the captain, Cian Prendergast. All action from JJ Theron. Interesting to see him operating in that back row in the number 7 shirt. Versatile for sure, ordinarily more comfortable in the number 8 shirt. Still only 22. It's been much better from the Bulls in the opening 22 minutes than we saw for huge time in the game in Belfast. Injured player in some distress. Sebastian de Klerk clutching, I think it's his right ankle. Caolin blade up high to take that. He was under pressure though from Reinhard Ludwig. Mack Hansen didn't have any space at all. Often doesn't need too much. Now can they move it quickly through the hands? Josh Ioane is smothered in the tackle. Heffernan breaking away, stopped in his tracks by David Creel, the always physical, imposing figure of David Creel. Here's Finlay Bealham. Mack Hansen stepping into the line. The more they can get the likes of Hansen and Bundee involved, so much the better you would feel for Connacht. Nice from Ioane again. Shayne Bolton refusing to die when the ball makes 5 or 6 metres post contact. There's a hand in there.
Advantage, knock on.
Knock on advantage. Mack Hansen now. A little bit of a cul-de-sac, so with that advantage, chips it over the top to no avail.
Knock on.
Better from Connacht, even though they were man down, they still managed to get a couple of overloads on the both touch lines.
Just a knock on in the tackle, we've not got it deliberate.
Mack Hansen knew that the scrum advantage as well, so it was just chancing his arm really with that chip and go. But it's good to see Sebastian de Klerk back on his feet as well. He went down injured, no one around him really as he stepped off his right to go into contact. You could hear him shouting from here, but he seems to have running repairs done and he's back on his wing and hopefully back to full fitness.
I think maybe, certainly from a Connacht point of view, no harm that there is this little stoppage in play, as you say, just to regather their thoughts. But the inquest can happen at half-time, even leave it further afield than that. They've got to just get on with the job in hand. Otherwise, Bulls in this kind of form, with throwing the ball around, attacking from deep, and they could be in a bit of a hole if they don't switch on.
Yeah, Connacht really have to now get a real clear picture and understanding of what they want to do when they have the ball. Are they going to try and keep it, go through the phases, which can be quite taxing and very confrontational again, as well, against this really well organised Bulls defence, you have to say, compared to the last couple of weeks. But then if they do decide to kick, you know, they're coming off second best in those kicks at the moment. They're either going too long, they're not winning the 50-50s when they do kick it.
Yeah.
And the Bulls have been outstanding so far, ball in hand as well. And we've seen that in their opening games, especially at home down in South Africa. They are lethal in counter-attack. It's just the incident here with Creel. Oh yeah, he just rolled that right ankle.
Yeah, I understand. It just looked on that one, like the other ones have been fine.
So this is where you want to see Caolin Blade, Josh Ioane, Bundee.
So what we can do?
Really lay out kind of the clear picture now up until half-time at least, until they get Josh Murphy back.
Okay.
A full complement to 15 onto the park again.
Yeah.
But he's been class, hasn't he? He's you know that saying, is that the class is permanent?
We good to go?
Like he's had so many ups and downs within his career,
Okay,
whether it's for the club
on.
or for South Africa. He's been written off, but yet he still comes back and seems to be unfazed. He came across very well in that documentary, Chasing the Sun. I just thought, like, you know, that some of the knocks he took and
really big
home crowd on his back at times, and
I don't want to see the
how
transfer
Rasmus backed him in that World Cup as well.
Really solid on the bind.
Made him feel 10 foot tall, going onto the pitch every time. I thought it was incredible man management from Rasmus, but also incredible mental strength from Billy LaRue to come over the issues he was having at full back at the time, particularly under high ball and tackling.
Crouch.
At 36 years of age, you wouldn't write him off yet either.
Absolutely not. Brings so much.
Set.
He's been the catalyst so far. There's that scrum under big pressure again, so they're going to have to work on the hoof there, get it out as quickly as possible. Prendergast takes on the responsibility. Bulls in position over the ball. Was there a clean lift? Or was it dangerous clear out? In fact, was the penalty. It's a little more than feisty, and certainly that red card has sparked a few tempers.
Interesting enough, the clock is still running as well. So, in a way, it's suiting Connacht.
Number 13, dangerous clear out. What did he do?
It's against Byron Ralston.
Okay. Dangerous clear out. Croc roll.
And they are consistent in that regard, the officials. They're certainly very hot on those croc rolls, dangerous as they are to lower limbs.
When the penalty's given,
they seldom get away with them now.
You held on to it longer. Caolin, it's not a discussion. We're on the line, yeah? Stay 2 meters away from the 5.
Recriminations continuing in the ear of Mike Adamson to no avail. Here's that man, Jan-Hendrik Wessels.
One stop.
First start for the Bulls this season. He was in off the bench against the Pumas in that match against Twickenham just a couple of weeks ago. Where's that off to? Bounce this time favouring Billy LaRue. Look at that. It's does Gavin was saying. He makes that look so easy. He's shipped a big tackle from Shayne Bolton after that. Bolton pulls him back to his feet. There's a friendly exchange. Nothing more to see here.
Typical of Really gets up laughing as well, but I think the home crowd are a bit miffed that this wasn't called a forward pass. I don't think any of the officials were in line with it to see whether it was or wasn't. But that was a big return from what was a promising Bulls position. They went for a 5+1 maul. Connacht robbed it, well, they stopped them, robbed it, and now they're on the front foot themselves.
Okay, we'll come now.
Yeah, I think on the evidence of that last replay in particular, I see your point. Nobody as yet in that stand to be in line with it. Now that's enterprising exchange from the two centres. Bundee into Ralston, Caolin Blade, Ioane, all tight and a little bit narrow. Heffernan no way through. There was a little bit of space there if Connacht had transferred the ball. Not sure the Bulls had filled the field as they would have liked. Heffernan again, Caolin Blade this time. Jansen takes it on.
Stay on.
Finlay Bealham. Being met with stern resistance at this point in the game, certainly. Dooley this time.
Got cleared there. Been cleared there.
Clean out was good, and it was just in the nick of time. There was sniffing a turnover there. Now Bundee under pressure this time from Ludwig. JJ Theron in the thick of things once again. Mack Hansen.
Keep pushing back.
And he sparks something. Caolin Blade, they're making progress. It's a little bit slow, but will their patience be rewarded with some penetration? Slow ball for the Connacht scrum half. Bundee. Ioane doesn't want to get swallowed up in there. 2 or 3 very big units in blue and white surrounding the diminutive Connacht scrum half, taken on instead by Darragh. No way through this time for Sean Jansen. 18 carries against Cardiff last week. He was top of the stats in that regard from a Connacht point of view, but they're being forced back again. For how much longer will they continue to put it through the hands? Maybe till they spot a little bit of daylight out wide. Darragh back inside from a good carry from Jansen again. 22 phases and they've not yet gone to the boot. The 14 of Connacht. They've not yet made it into the 22. And this time Rudolph is off his feet. He did have hands on, but then lost his footing. Back to that short side, to that narrow line. Lost in contact. Back we go for the penalty.
It's fairly bruising, isn't it?
Better part of 25 phases.
Not a quarter given either side. You'd have to say from a Bulls perspective, there's nothing disjointed about that defence. And you know when a defence is on it, you can hear them talking through the referee's mic. They're hitting off the ball as well. They're staying connected in the 2s and 3s. And Connacht have to put in a huge effort to try and eke out yards. Some lovely passing, delayed passing into spaces. But then the doors are getting closed pretty quickly as well. So I think from a Bulls perspective, they'll be delighted in terms of how they're defending, but there was no need to give away that penalty either. So it's a real opportunity for Connacht now just to kill the clock a little bit, put 3 points back on the board, and just hang on in there till half time really, because that one-man advantage is huge for the Bulls at the moment.
Well, it was their discipline that went awry in the second half in Belfast against Ulster last week when they were down to 14 with a man in the bin. They conceded 3 tries. Game over.
It looked like you went down a bit easy.
Strikes it low and pulls it straight to the left of the uprights.
Straight it.
That was a little bit snatchy.
Straight two, guys.
And that's arguably as good as he has been with ball in hand since he's come to Connacht. That's arguably been his Achilles heel. Been able to kick points when Connacht need them the most. You know, they've been a signing with Sam Gilbert due to arrive from Otago. Although I saw they won today, they put 40-odd points, and from all accounts Sam Gilbert was outstanding in an exceptional Otago performance that saw them overcome Bay of Plenty to get to the NPC final for the first time in 20-odd years. He was exceptional under the high ball, kicked a penalty, and as captain as well, he seems to have a lot to offer. So from a kicking perspective off the tee, they need someone like Sam Gilbert in as soon as possible.
Bundee has a little bit of a juggle with it. Not sure he ever really had that under serious pressure from JJ Theron. Yeah, the thought goes out to the Particularly the
go
hard
knock
yards
one
that the
first.
forwards are trying to gain
2 you
through
can't
those
drive around the corner
23,
like that.
24 phases.
That's where it goes.
No points to show at the end. They'll be under pressure here as well. This might come out quickly.
And you can feel it around the ground as well, Connor. The crowd have gone quiet now. They were right behind them, and they want to see a reward for all that effort that went into those 22, 23 phases. So the crowd are looking for a way to get in behind them. When you come away empty-handed like that, you can just hear or feel the kind of groan within the ground.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Finlay Bealham will have scrummaged against Ioane many times. When Ioane was playing with the Southern Kings and the Cheetahs in the Pro 14 as it was back then. He actually made his Pro 14 debut for the Southern Kings against Connacht back in 2018, a long while ago. Settled into this defence first pattern for the time being, at least the Bulls. Reasonably comfortable to absorb the pressure from Connacht. 32 minutes on the watch. Mack Hansen trying to inject some energy and pace, wriggling free for a second. No real option other than Bundee down that short side, and he was well marshalled numbers wise. Peter Dooley brought to ground by Reinhard Ludwig. Josh Ioane to Jansen. Leandro Rudolph, who was excellent in that number 8 shirt for the Bulls last week on a difficult night in Belfast. He was probably the standout player.
Back on.
Making plenty of tackles again. He's quickly out of that defensive line again there. Still go low as well. And as a result, it's a speculative kick forward. Back off Mack Hansen. And now on this side, Willie Leroux biding his time to bring in Caolin Moody, and it's 3 against 1. And the speed now of Caolin Moody. Ball just got away from him and wriggles in the end, harmlessly into touch, but that was a real opportunity for the Bulls again.
And it all came again off a 50-50 kick from Caolin Blade. He obviously heard the call from Mack Hansen, got 2 hands up to it, couldn't gather it. And this is where the Bulls, as we mentioned so far, have been so dangerous. Willie Leroux obviously could have maybe tucked it on himself and gone a little bit longer with it, but Caolin Moody, so no one in the backfield with Mack Hansen gone. And it's just a bounce of the ball then, isn't it, in terms of which way that goes.
He'll be disappointed really when all is said and done there. That's a great opportunity just to nudge that in.
Starting okay from that kick, Hulls? Was it pretty tight?
Peter Dooley, I think it is, who's just been checked over by the medical staff.
Yeah. 13, you're pretty tight on that kick. Just make sure you're behind kicker. You were quite tight on the kick. Yeah.
It's been a little bit of everything from the Bulls, but I think certainly from Johan Ackerman's point of view, yes, they've taken a couple of tries really, really well. Cut Connacht open with that backline play that he loves to endorse and give his teams the freedom to play with, but defensively they've been excellent as well.
They've been excellent, considering they've had 32% of the ball, albeit yes, they're a man up.
Stay 2.
Connacht have looked after the ball reasonably well, but they run into a brick wall essentially, and the Bulls have been really efficient in everything they've done so far when they have had the ball.
Interesting to see. It's only a few games into the season how they adapt and transform under Johan Ackerman. There's the interference and the jump of Cian Prendergast. Not going to be anything further for Reinhard Ludwig. You think back to last season, fewest carries, fewest passes, lowest possession, most tries off first phase. And they had a good return rate from the 3rd most entries into the 22.
Yeah, that's okay.
Evolving into a different side this season. Certainly we saw that at home at Loftus in the opening couple of matches. 90-point plus game against the Ospreys, of course. 9 tries in that game. 39-31 against Leinster on match day 2. Different story, as I said, on the road in Belfast. 5 minutes to half time. Prendergast now to try and launch something for Connacht in the down embers of this half. Down numbers and down on the board.
Wait to be played on.
pumped skyward by Josh Ioane. Mullins leads the chase. Tapped back by Villy LaRue, and he just runs out of pitch against Mack Hansen over there.
Yeah.
Connacht line
I
out.
didn't see a knock on in the air. No.
Clearly there was a knock on in the air. The referee's not interested.
No, there's nothing clear or obvious there.
Yeah, we don't have the Hawkeyes, so we're just relying on the replays. Yeah. Yeah, Timo said there's nothing clear in the replay. No.
But I think that change of style, perhaps, that you're talking about there, Connor, perhaps given a team got to 3 finals in a row, hugely competitive,
What's that?
and yet Jay White was relieved of his duties, a couple of seasons left on his contract, so perhaps it's that something different they need to get across the line. I know certainly they're going to target Europe by all accounts. They weren't too happy with their Champions Cup performance or lack of thereof. They didn't seem interested in the competition at times. I know Jake White had huge issues with the travel and everything else that was involved in it, but you know, they've certainly gone out on a limb, letting Jake White off, World Cup winner, 3-time finalist.
No, mirror.
You know, there is a bit of pressure on them to perform this year.
I was aware as well.
It certainly is. You bring in Andre Pollard, maybe he's the missing piece to that jigsaw. Maybe it's Jan Ackerman. We saw what he did in a 4-year spell at the Lions, got them to back-to-back Super Rugby finals, didn't quite get over the line, but he had an unheralded squad that he brought through to really good acclaim. So many of that side went on to be well-capped Springboks.
10 metres, please.
It's not clean again, just slips through the grasp of Darragh Murray, but there was a challenge on the arm again.
On the arm.
Yeah, it's 2 in a row where they've got up to the right spot, but they've given away penalties. So Connacht will go to the corner again. They'll be open for a little bit of a cleaner ball, cleaner possession, and a platform to attack off. Certainly the Bulls are reading the movement and getting in the air very well.
A couple of metres inside.
Yeah, they're making it extremely difficult.
Just here, Bulls.
There was a little look towards his captain from the Connacht number 10, as if to say, posts or corner,
Space, guys.
both elements of that are under a little bit of scrutiny. The lineout's not functioning clearly, and it wasn't an easy kick for a player who's missed an easier one just a few moments ago. So they mix it up a little bit, go to David O'Connor, low to the front.
Green to ground.
So easy to concede a penalty here, but it's brought to ground by, I think it's the captain, Cian Prendergast. Now then, Bundee at key had the option of Ioane out the back and Mullins on his shoulder. Into contact instead. Quick check to that short side. Instead, it's Peter Dooley. Prendergast now. Blade once more. Josh Ioane, that late sweep around from Byron Ralston. Back the other way from Blade. Through the hands quickly again from Josh Ioane. There's lovely dexterity. Finlay Bealham. Different approach. Still no way through. They can't just break down this blue and white wall. 2-man tackle again. Yonder Rudolph is getting through a huge amount of work in that number 8 shirt. So effective, and then agonisingly spilled by his opposite number, Sean Jansen.
Yeah, and just when you thought they'd done enough to get it to the right man in a bit of space, Sean Jansen devastating with ball in hand. You can see how disappointed he is, hasn't had his hands on the ball in that kind of scenario tonight, and he's been devastating out there for Connacht over the last season or so.
Yes.
Oh, it's just another one first hour. Just not quite enough length on the pass, but even still,
I know, I agree.
really, he should have caught that one. But you mentioned in the commentary there, Connor, double hits from the Bulls. Again, just another little indication of how connected they are in defence. They're winning the race around the breakdown, because the breakdown is so slow from a Connacht perspective. The Bulls are able to get around the corner, get that spacing correct, and then get off the line. So it's very hard from a Connacht perspective, and it all stems really from the breakdown. It's so slow at the moment from a Connacht perspective.
Quick, fast ball and tempo, and something they rely on.
Keep controlling the weight. Keep controlling on the
By
bounce.
contrast, the Bulls' ruck speed over the course of the opening 2 games in particular, slightly different story, and skewed by that in Belfast last week, particularly that second half, has been lightning fast.
Crouch. Bind.
Bundee key packing down in the scrum on the Paul de Vet put in. They're in control of that facet of the game. just gets away momentarily from Rudo. A penalty coming all evening.
Let him go.
Yeah, it's a great scrum, isn't it, from the Bulls as Wilco Low, getting their right hand side up, getting right in on top of David Heffernan.
Such a wily experienced, much travelled campaigner. 31 Wilco Low, and Stormers really successful spell at Quins Toulon as well. Try last week in Belfast. So Sean O'Brien is the player to come in. Back to the full complement of 15 aside. So the 20-minute red card is over. That will be the main talking point at half-time. So many ways to see it. I think a lot of them will lead to, well, there's that little break again, and they're struggling in that wide 5-metre channel to deal with that. It's the late hit into the line from Villy Leroux, who's always got options inside and outside, and they were almost through again. Clock's gone into the red, so we're on borrowed time from a Connacht point of view. Back to 15 aside. Maybe they just like to get into the sheds and put their heads together. Villy Leroux, he's looked very accomplished into the engine room. Cobus Fisa takes it on. Paul Devet, the service has been good when they spring into attack from long periods on the back foot. Very impressive on both sides of the ball. Much better from last week for sure. They've got the reaction that Johan Ackerman and the Bulls president was calling for. Jan-Hendrik Wessels manhandled to the ground. Now Villy Leroux just pops that across, asks the question. It's worth a roll of the dice for the 6'3" Springbok Caolin Moody, who pops up on that left flank. Well, he's been at the fulcrum of much of what's been impressive about the Bulls in the opening half in Galway. Here, the man from Pretoria. We're looking for a reaction, and Johan Ackerman, the new head coach who's taken over this season, of course, from Jake White, has certainly got one. That 20-minute sanction for Josh Murphy. Sean O'Brien is in. We are back restored to 15 aside. Some energy-sapping defensive set from the Bulls, and interesting to try and second-guess what Stuart Lancaster might have said, particularly to his side at half-time, and how they will approach this second 40 minutes. It feels like a big 40 minutes, even so early in the season, for Connacht on home soil against a fully functioning and firing Bulls side who've been really aggressive in defence and offered plenty in attack. I'll get Gavin to set it up as to how he thinks it might go momentarily, but there's been a huge ball in play time as well, and settling into that early rhythm. 2 tries to 1. High tackle. There's been lots of that around the contact area. It's been a little bit lacking in discipline at times. Paul Devet has had more than his fair share, so too Johannesson. Again, that willingness from Villy Leroux, inaccurately this time, to try and bring in Sebastien de Klerk.
And let me deal with that. I've got the penalty. I don't need you screaming in my ear. Okay?
Plenty of back chat in the way of the referee as well.
There's been plenty of it in the first half as well, so I think he's probably gone in at half-time thinking, I need to get a handle on this
stay
again.
Away from the neck when you're pulling them down.
It's just on Sean Jansen there, I think. It's just it's a poor attempt at attack when you're up that high, but thankfully there's no injury out of it either, the way he rolled backwards. But I think, you mentioned there was Stuart Lancaster at half-time. Connacht have got so many phases, lovely intricate passing, but they're not getting front foot ball, and ultimately then they run up against a brick wall. So I think having 15 men back in the park surely will help their multi-phase game, but they need to be more impactful on the ball. They need to be hitting the ruck slower, harder, getting there earlier, because that slow ruck ball is allowing that Bulls defence line up, get the spacing right, and then make those 2-man tackles, which again just it leads into that Connacht, that slow ball. So I think the breakdown, again, similar to what it was against Cardiff, is an area that Connacht would have gone after at half-time, trying to find a few adjustments, make an impact there in the next 40.
I couldn't agree more. It's a source of real energy for the Bulls when they're lined up rock solid in that defensive line, filling the field and just hitting green shirts all evening long. It was a brilliant take at line-out time from the captain, Reinhard Ludwig, one-handed to set up this position. There was a flailing arm or a boot through there that's led to penalty advantage. Discipline of course of the 80 minutes is going to be so key here, because it's been a tetchy affair so far. Ioane is the decoy, a little bit of a drop goal, why not? Perfect position for Keegan Johannes and the straightforward and rather simple task, but he executed it very nicely.
Or kick the ball at the man's hands.
Yeah, I think Connacht would actually
We're stepping over the
relieved he took the drop goal there, because sometimes when you have a player advantage like that, just go for the juggler, go for the 7 points. And instead he just sits back and he would have come back for a penalty anyway. So I think it's a bit of a let off from Connacht's perspective, but you can see the difference there between the Bulls attack and Connacht's attack. 2 or 3 quick work balls. There's 2 guys from a Connacht perspective on the deck. One is going low, one's going high, but the impact from the Bulls ball carrier is getting over that gain line every time.
8 on 8 this time. Leandro Rudolph, as I said, has been absolutely excellent. Turned over so much ball against Ulster 4 times across the 80 minutes. He was a real thorn in the side at breakdown time.
Wait to be played on. Okay, onside.
Johannes, who has that laid-back style, much like Willie LaRue, languid kicking style. Hansen now. Maybe it was just a little bit too cute from Willie LaRue. It was nicely done. I'm not sure his fly half was absolutely ready for it, or else it was a tiny bit short. He was a Bulls player in the passing channel. Quickly went to ground to get out of the way, but maybe that impacted the pass. Now then, Connacht, you can sense the Galway crowd. There's a
Advantage over for the knock-on.
number of grievances currently in play. Maybe feel they're not getting the rub of the green.
Tackle now, Bulls.
Saw that so many times in the opening half. That's the Peter Dooley getting smashed back, and then Ralston does really well, and here comes Caolin Blade. Can he get there? Just a point in the end. Finds his way under real pressure from 2 Bulls players to the whitewash. May have injured himself in the process. Back to his feet gingerly, but that's a massive moment in the game. Out of almost nothing, Ralston found a gap.
Out of almost nothing, it came from a Willie LaRue forced error, really. No need to give the pass. You can sense it, Conor. You mentioned the crowd got up. It's like, come on, here's a chance to get spark into life. Ioane drawing in 2 players. Byron Ralston coming from the blind side. Oh, a bit of a high tackle there coming in, but swinging arm. But Caolin Blade just had enough to get there. All the momentum to get the ball down.
He did well to ride the impact of that seatbelt challenge. There's a little bit more than that in terms of the swinging arm, and still have the wherewithal with his wrong hand almost underneath him to keep hold of it and not lose it on impact. Every point now absolutely crucial, and it's back to a 1-point game 6 minutes into the second half, and that's a hugely important score from a man who's now scored 53 tries in Connacht colours.
Yeah, you can see just the threat that Ioane has. Every time he attacks the line, he's drawn in 2 defenders, and they took their eye off Byron Ralston coming from the blind side. I think that's a let-off. I think foul play like that has to be brought back with a penalty for the attacking team. You know, he said nothing more than a penalty. Well, if that's the case, then give the penalty. The act of scoring.
It was a high tackle, but the try scored, so it's nothing more.
It should be a penalty on halfway then. If I've seen it actually a couple of times already this season, when you see it so seldom. Certainly they had a case.
Yeah, he clarified it there by saying it has to be after the act of scoring, but even still, it's a cheap shot. You know, it's something that I think has to be, if they're so intent on getting foul play like that out of the game, I think it has to be called up.
I didn't hear Mike Adamson saying that, so that's good clarification. And maybe to the letter again. We're seeing why it was difficult to call pre-game. Nothing to change our minds in that regard. This one has all the makings of a game that'll go right to the wire.
Five.
Changed it up this time and quickly out the back from a good take initially from Cian Prendergast. Short, smuggled ball, almost contraband into the hands of the rampaging Sean Jansen. Try and round one here against Benetton.
Okay, Connacht, use it. Let go of his leg.
Off and chase they go in response to that up and under again from Caolin, who's measuring those really well.
Yeah, just when you think the Connacht were going to get 50-50 go their way, Dave Heffernan, second touches, I think they call it, breaking ball, or this JA or soccer, but unfortunately just wasn't able to get the hang of it. Shayne Bolton, fair contest. Dave Heffernan just wasn't able to react quick enough.
Yep. There's a mark.
The crowd remain unconvinced. Yeah, they're coming out on the right side of the ledger thus far from the whistle of Mike Adamson. And there you see the differential in terms of the tackles made, approaching 140 from the Bulls, who have been right at it defensively.
Stay square, stay square.
And in the ascendancy at scrum time, it's wheeling now, and out the back they go with Rudolph, Paul de Vet, Johannes sweeping pass and forward.
Biggest share of the night, Connor.
And just a hint of irony around the cheers and jeers. I'm not going to say there's not much in it, but there's not much in there.
I was kind of looking at waiting for the replay to be, convinced that it was a forward pass, but you've seen those just when waves play on as well. It's hometown decisions sometimes when the crowd roars and it's a 50-50 decision, it's in the back of your mind.
Keep it square.
Interesting, the longer the game went on last week, Ulster, even though they were under pressure at times, found a way to negate the scrum as a weapon. Certainly as a points machine.
No, we're not stable.
More stability, solid engagement, steady the feet. Good surface, no reason for there to be much foot movement after this set.
They're going to milk it again, eh?
Yeah.
They're going to milk it.
Let's go,
There's the tail of the tape.
Crouch. Fine.
Such an important evening, particularly if you feel for Connacht and Stuart Lancaster with this game being at home. One match before the November break. They need some momentum to carry into next week. 2 wins in the last 8 in the URC. Yes, that's going back to that sticky period at the back end of last season, but both those victories coming against Italian opponents, Benetton in round 1 here and Zebra Parma in round 18 at the back end of last season, after they lost 5 games on the bounce to just absolutely snuff out any potential playoff aspirations.
Okay, Connacht, use
Eventually
it.
finishing down in 13th position. Only a couple of years since, as I mentioned, they were across in Cape Town playing a semi-final against the Stormers. Improvisation, the order of the day off the left boot laces of Moody into the hands of Mack Hansen. No second invitation required. Oh, that's a little bit funky to say the least. We applaud the creativity and the invention and the unorthodox. It's what gets bums on seats, but that was not what was intended from Mack Hansen.
He's a live wire though, isn't he?
Guys.
He's usually competitive as well. He's not happy with himself. But it's brilliant, isn't it, when you have 2 full backs or back threes and a loose kick, and all of a sudden everyone in the stadium is alert and going, right, what's going to happen next? great to have players like that in the park.
Staying as square as long as possible. I'd only see one forward and then in.
Joyce in for David O'Connor.
Yeah.
And Jordan Duggan in for
Just keep square,
Peter Dooley in the front row. So
Okay.
try and change the picture. Difficult as though it may be against the likes of Vilko Lowe. Worth mentioning as well that the Bulls do have Ioane Crobler to come in and Gerhard Steenekamp in that front row. Oswald Popper as well. But yeah, you're right. It's that kind of play and invention and mercurial aspect of the game that we love to see. That full-back shirt is going to be interesting for Ireland across the autumn series. In which way Andy Farrell sees it. Jacob Stockdale, of course, back playing some game time at Ulster at full-back and playing really, really well. He was excellent in that position against this opposition last week. JJ Darragh has played well tonight. He's carried strongly. Player of some repute and potential.
Hold 9.
Won an under-20s Rugby World Cup against New Zealand in the final with South Africa.
Keep retreating, retreat!
Hansen off in chase of his own kick. To his opposite number, Willie Leroux. Ralston this time swallowing up Johannes. He's had a really robust game. Jan-Hendrik Wessels.
Timing's fine.
Leroux gets his pass away to Moody and Creel now joining the line and into the hands of Sebastian de Klerk, and the minute de Klerk gets his hands on it, the alarm bells are ringing and there's always support on the inside. It's that combination again in the wide expanse. They're finding space, they're finding soft shoulders, and it's a second try of the evening for Paul de Vet.
And it's those little double pumps again that was the lads are talking about at half time. Willie Leroux right to the line, a little bit of goose step by Caolin Moody. And just here then hands 2-on-1. But Connacht will be really disappointed in terms of how they defended out in those wider channels. They have the numbers, but it's just Shayne Mullins hitting in. Maybe he didn't need to. Cian Prendergast was coming across. There's a little bit of indecision out there in those wider channels from a Connacht perspective, but you got to put that down to Bulls' really efficient, effective play. As I said, ball in two hands, little half pumps, goose steps, just throwing a lot of it.
That's a very nice strike, no problem whatsoever. Missed an easy one in the first half, but a couple more difficult efforts have been right on the money.
Paul de Vet, he's ran some great lines, hasn't he? Following the play up.
I think you've always just took his contact line.
Sebastian de Klerk on one shoe still has a turn of pace and the awareness of where his scrum half will be. Further changes. Dave Heffernan, I think, has gone off, and Shayne Mullins also. And let's not forget, we're talking about a Connacht side with 9 changes with a lot of new combinations. And Byron Ralston is now trying to find his way into that mid. It's such a difficult position to defend. We saw that maybe in evidence with a try in the first half, and there's lots to work on here from a Connacht point of view.
Correction number 16, Tierney-Martin replacing Prendergast on the HIA.
Cian Prendergast has gone off for a head injury assessment. That's the change that brings Dylan Tierney-Martin in. Sean Naughton is the player to come in. Confirmation bottom left of that HIA, importantly from a Connacht and an Ireland point of view. Now then, it's all the Bulls. 8-point advantage, 3 tries to 2. No let up really. It's been excellent again this evening. Rudolph. Sometimes it stems from simply winning collisions, and the Bulls are winning many of them. Connacht have got to offer something different. Hansen slipped beyond the clutches of 2 before he was felled by the 3rd.
Carried back.
And the aerial route this time is the option, inviting Willie Leroux to come forward. He makes that look effortless. Oh, look at that from off the floor as well. It wasn't a million miles away from finding its target. The open side flanker, JJ Darragh, in position. Brings the big man into the fray. Joe Joyce taking over from David O'Connor. Darragh Murray
Okay, use it.
Blades kick, more of the same from Willie Leroux. Got his pass away. Wasn't perfect, but it did the job. It's those second balls from Caolin Moody now, then it's turned over legally, back on the Connacht side and picked up quickly by Jordan Duggan, working that short side off the pass from Sean O'Brien into Bundee. He doesn't have a terrible amount of support out there. O'Brien in position, Caolin played, look at that from Jan-Hendrik. Wessels again like a human missile, rocket launcher out of that defensive line. There was a knock on in there, certainly. Seemed to be in real time. Sean Jansen, Connacht play on for now at least. Cross-field kick, all on the bounce. It's tricky for de Klerk, and he watches it all the way.
Option, scrum or 22.
And even the kick there is out of desperation, really. They ran out of numbers, possibly ran out a little bit of ideas as well. That Bulls wall built very firmly in front of them. But every ruck that Connacht go into, they're fighting for it, they're scrapping for it. Ball presentation isn't great as a result. Maybe there was a little bit of knock-on, as you mentioned.
Replacing number 3, Finlay Bealham.
Finlay Bealham's return to action is over, so Jack Aungier comes into that complete front row, new front row as it is now. 57 minutes, 58 minutes for Finlay Bealham on his return. There's Jack Aungier. Mack Hansen onto the wing, Sean Naughton then at fullback. A lot of talk about Sean Naughton and where he will end up, but certainly Stuart Lancaster identified in pre-season very early that he has all the traits of a fullback.
He obviously has carved a name for himself, being involved in Irish 20s Grand Slam winning teams as an out half, and obviously has the footballing ability. And maybe just that extra pair of hands is needed from a Connacht's perspective, similar like Willie Leroux was doing for the Bulls, pulling the strings, getting a little bit more width on the play.
Still those big hits keep coming from those blue and white Praetorian jerseys. Thumping tackle, I think it's Francois Clopper who's come in off the Bulls bench. Caolin Blade didn't get a hold of that one as he would have liked.
Back off White.
Back off a Bulls hand, almost through the hands of Nambakaba. He's put to ground. Joe Joyce
16!
trying to galvanise Connacht here.
Drive around the side. Hey, stop it, stop it. Same stop it. First half. Stop it.
I think the suggestion here is that he was pulled and dragged by Wessels in around by the side. No, he steps across himself. Again, it's a poor penalty. Bulls are on the back foot, going backwards. That's just easing the pressure.
It's going to be very interesting. Final quarter here.
Number 23, Caolin Ford, replacing number 12, Bundee.
So Bundee follows Finlay Bealham only a matter of seconds after. Also playing with Ireland, so that's his involvement in this round of games in the URC over. And Caolin Ford comes in. Sweeping changes from Ioane Ackerman to freshen things up for the man from the high belt.
How many?
What caliber of player to bring in Johan Krobler and Gerhard Steenekamp.
Replacing number 1, Lucas Graney.
Connacht not putting their hand up for scrummages anytime soon, that's for sure. By no means weakened in that respect by the two players who've just come in. Squad depth, of course, is an issue for the Bulls and what they've added this season with the obligations that they now have to the Springbok squad. So many more than maybe a year or 18 months ago. Currently Hansen not involved. Marshall Kutsia not here this evening following return to play protocols. Ruan Norkia getting a break after his exploits in the Rugby Championship as well. Oh, really tricky one for Naughton all the way back there under the height of Caolin Moody.
Let him go.
It's more his presence that put the
Tackle,
fullback under pressure. They just need to sort themselves out a little bit here, Connacht. At times it's not been pretty. It's not been the most organised and functional.
No, it's due to the pressure they've been put under by Bulls. Although in this instance, Sean Naughton, that's something he's got to do. He's got to deal with that and take that and call a mark, settle the game down again. But from a defensive point of view, Connacht have actually defended quite okay when Bulls have been running at them. Like, you know, they're making the tackles, they're quite confrontational. Sean Jansen there at the back of the line out. But it's when they're in attack, they're under so much pressure at every breakdown.
Backwards.
Really struggling to get across the gain line on a consistent basis, and making one too many handling errors as well.
Under the pump here, 5 metres inside their own 22. It was a great carry again by Ludwig. He's captained the side well this evening, led by example, and Gerhard Steenekamp now takes it on. Fresh legs from some of those who feel that they need to lay down a marker after what happened last week against Ulster when they were way off it. Came with all the form to Belfast, expected to make a statement. Didn't have it their own way, far from it, nor have they this evening, but they're making it work, making it happen.
Number 2, taking out the support player.
Dave Heffernan this time is the player who's penalised. Expensive penalty.
Number 2's taking out 7 without the ball.
Yeah, arguably just before the ruck had been formed. And again, a penalty, having gone through so many phases in defence, and you give away soft 3 points. You'd imagine a kick this extended out to 25-14. And it's a right uphill battle now for Connacht.
Absolutely the right call, you would feel, certainly at this point in the game, just to keep that scoreboard ticking. Dropped goal to his credit not long after the restart. That really good Paul DeVet try. And now a further penalty. It's theirs to lose, or something very close to that now.
Yeah, they only rolled the dice really left for Connacht, I feel, is Matthew Devine coming on at 9. Consistently makes an impact. He consistently revs up the gears and gets Connacht on the front foot, getting to the breakdown a bit quicker. Liable to make a few sniping breaks as well. Might see him enter the fray sooner rather than later.
It's going to take something a little bit special. Salvage the situation here for Connacht, who don't have, recently at least, a favourable record against South African sides. 1 win in their last 7.
9.
Was home here against the Sharks in the early part of last season, September 2024. A real topsy-turvy game, I recall. 36 points to 30 it finished. This one's been altogether tighter from first whistle.
There you go.
Super kick to find the space between the covering back line there. Relieving pressure again. They don't have to do anything fancy from here on in, you feel. Playing the right areas, keep their discipline.
Some impressive numbers by those forwards in terms of the tackle count. Approaching 170 across 64 minutes. Plenty of them have stuck as well. Kenan Moody. A little off colour last week. Straight back into action though he was from the Rugby Championship. He's looked a little bit more like himself this evening, always capable of finding the gap. We'll mark that all the way back as it rumbles dead.
It's a bit of a heart in the mouth moment there for Sean Nocton as well when he tripped over. Wondering was the ball going to go dead. Could hear the footsteps behind him.
Well, you can hear a lot around the Dexcom. I know it's at reduced capacity while we await for the opening of that impressive stand over on the far side in the last week in January against Leinster, but it has been flat at times.
Okay, there's a mark, guys. Come on, you guys, just keep it square. If you're going forward, it's straightforward. Nice and stable. Nice and stable.
Almost looking for
control the weight.
An access point into the game, a reason to get behind their side. Got to turn this place into a fortress. Certainly the new stand and new facilities will help, but they lost 4 games across the UR season last season at the Dexcom, Leinster, Ulster, Edinburgh, and tonight's opponents, the Bulls, all won here. They also lost that Interpro in Mayo at McHale Park. Look at that power coming through. If anything, they're stronger for the introduction of certainly Gerhard Steenekamp. Cobbler alongside him, that was massive.
Yeah, it was a lovely kick, wasn't it? Again, right decision. You can just feel him turn the screw with every kick. Just in the last 5 minutes, they kicked out of the 22. They kicked. Well, Billy LaRue obviously got the angles wrong on that occasion, but you can see now they're willing to play down this left-hand side of the pitch.
Replacements for Connacht, number 21, Matthew Devine, replacing number 9, Cian.
That's such a powerful scrum too, isn't it?
Just hold on.
Absolutely destroyed Connacht there.
Guys, what we doing? We're done.
Mentioned the replacements.
And HIA with Ralston, number 16.
Every single one of them wants to make a mark as well after last week.
Prendergast.
Guys, what,
So there'll be no let up.
Yeah, okay, time on.
Interesting to see what Matthew Devine can bring. That's great from a Connacht and an Ireland point of view. Cian Prendergast has passed his HIA. It's so unfortunate with injuries, provincial and international level at times.
Okay, Connacht, use it.
Inopportune times. So up it goes from Matthew Devine. That's a great take from Keenan Moody. The real pressure from Shayne Bolton there for Paul DeVette. There's that aggression, violence almost in the carry. No let up, 67th minute. Taken by Devine. Had he got back to ground before he was put to ground by Keegan Johannes? The answer is yes. A little bit of cramp maybe for JJ Theron, just out of your picture there.
Always in.
Back inside that Connacht 22.
Okay, Connacht, use it.
Time becoming a pressing matter. Plenty of instruction for Matthew Devine, but again it's Moody using that height. Quite comfortable in that wing position as he has grown to be in the 13 shirt. Now Billy LaRue again just takes out that little lob wedge and prods one through. Asking real questions. David Creel couldn't make anything of it. Cian Prendergast freshly back in, having passed his HIA, gets it away to Shayne Bolton. Boot the ball down into that Bulls 22. Bolton, and they both miss it, and then it's hacked through. Where's that going to finish up? Touchdown by Sean Norton. Collision of bodies. Bolton, before all of that, but a little bit of footballing skills from Sean Norton. Ball crucially just stayed in field, and that as yet could be the spark that at night's a big comeback for Connacht.
It could well be, and out of nothing as well.
No.
Just when look at Connacht under pressure from crossfield kick from Billy LaRue. Tables return, ball into Bolton's hands. First time really he's got the hands on the ball this game. Super kick off the right foot as well. Just got the angles right. Bit of a banana kick to keep it in field.
The team will look, but we've not. Yeah.
Holly Davidson, the TMO, of course, will sweep everything that just happened in the build-up to that.
CAPT was asking about the 10 getting dived on at that point, but I think they're both just going for the ball.
I don't think there was anything intentional or malicious or anything like that untoward in the collision between Shayne Bolton and Keegan Johannes, but it will be checked, and it's a big moment in the game.
That's a good skill there from Shayne Bolton. Arguably he would have liked to maybe just stick a little bit closer to the touchline, but the main important thing was he didn't kick it out in the full. Gave himself a chance to get in the foot race. And a little touch by Sean Yockton as well. Didn't overkick it, judged it to perfection, just about. And they're right back in it.
Adrenaline coursing through those young veins of 21-year-old Sean Yockton. Massive moment for him. If that can be the catalyst,
I understand.
for Connacht to pull this one out of the fire, it'll be absolutely huge for the early part of their season here. Cal Ford with that big booming boot of his. They certainly have lots of artillery in there off the bench now.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see now how Bulls attack this last 10 minutes. They'd reverted into a bit more of a kicking game since they pulled out to 25-14.
Five.
That's going to give Connacht enough opportunities. They'll throw caution to the wind to get themselves back into the game. So they'll go back now to a bit more ball in hand and wear Connacht down.
Discipline's got to be on point for Connacht. They can't concede soft, needless penalties. There's a good take from Nicholas Jansen van Rensburg from Kroblar's delivery at line-out
Jump
time, but
across, you're landing on the lifters. Thrown across,
it's another line-out infringement.
Jump across and then landing on the lifters, dangerous.
Yeah, and Joyce,
Marks on the 15.
Jack Aungier is the guy behind him, just let him over his grasp. And as a result, he
Who's captain?
handed down on the jumpers. As you can hear the referee saying.
There's an awful
You
big
find
lump
out
of
the
man to
touchline
keep a hold of when
Sorry,
you throw him that high in
post.
the air. Lose control of
It's
him.
on the
This is a
15 here.
massive kick now. 9 minutes to go. Player who's come into the reckoning only really in the last 12 months, maybe even only the last 4 or 5 months of last season. Played a full 4 seasons without one single start, 25 appearances off the bench, and then he was thrust into the fly half role in February, March last year. He's got the distance, you feel. Does he have the direction? Yes, he absolutely does. That's brilliant from Keegan Johannes.
Outstanding kick. Look, confident, striking it. Even the fact that he put his hand up to take it as well from that distance out showed how confident he was. And as you mentioned, he's flourished in the 10 jersey, still listed as a scrum half on the Bulls website, so maybe they have a longer term view of where he ends up. But with Goosen injured, Andre Pullard unavailable, he certainly filled the role tonight again.
Smart play from Naughton under pressure there. Could easily have thrown a loose pass into a heavily congested line of traffic there.
Number 4. Offside.
Penalties against Cobus Visa. Connacht needed that badly.
Big decision here as well now. You can see they're going to talk us through, but right in front of the post, Sean Naughton perhaps is going to be the one that steps up.
Post called.
That's a big kick for the young man as well.
To get back within range. Pressure moments. He's taken his try. Can he take the 3 from a long way out?
Yeah. Oh, I think it was okay. I know, I think it was okay. I think it was okay.
A 71% probability from 40 plus meters. There's no black and white definition of pressure. Get over is the cry, and the ball listens, and they're back in the game. That is huge from the young man.
That is a massive kick. I saw him in the warm-up kicking to the opposite end, and he cleared the dead ball line with the belt he gave it. But goes to show you when the nerves are at you and the game is there in the balance. That's a super kick.
For a nervous few seconds, he thought maybe he'd under-clubbed it slightly. Got under it just a touch. Just had the legs.
That is a brave call.
Yeah.
And it was an easy call for someone else to say, leave it, leave it, leave it. What a brave call, great trust. And how a game can swing all of a sudden.
A little bit of irony in the fact that it's been the player Keegan Johannes whose 2 penalties and a drop goal in this second half have really put the Bulls in the position to win it.
In your half.
It's his mistake.
Line will be in yours.
Just puts the ball back in. Connacht scored again.
Keep it square.
Won't get too many more chances.
I think a bit more space on the bind. More space on the bind.
Just a nod to the performance of Paul the Vet, not alone those 2 tries this evening, but he's been excellent. But Emrys Papier, Springbok, who's passed his HIA protocols to be back involved on the bench tonight, in for the last crucial 5 minutes of the game.
Man of the match in this fixture this time last year as well, so it's got to show the competition for 9 of the Bulls is pretty high, isn't it?
Nicely done from Matthew Devine, and away we go. Sean Naughton with Mack Hansen outside. foot in touch. Was that the opportunity? Hands to the head. He shipped a big tackle. I'm not quite sure he knew exactly if Hansen was coming back on the inside or holding his width.
Time off.
I think the crowd are looking for a high tackle, but I don't think there's anything in that. He was looking on his inside and he said, maybe on second viewing of that.
That's a better angle to get the full picture. So it was hands to head because of the contact.
Actions of 15 white. Is it shoulder to head or head on head?
And they worked it well from the scrum just to get out of dodge as quickly as possible. A little wrap around with Matthew Devine.
Great line by Caolin forward, I think it was as well. Just sat down 2 defenders. And he was always had eyes on the inside. Never quite realised that Mack Hansen was on the outside. But that's high for sure.
Yeah, that is trouble.
He initially dips
I think we need the
really rude, but he actually doesn't stay down, comes up just there on impact.
Using that shoulder to head, this head contact, that left shoulder.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
It hits body first, and then the head comes through and hits shoulder.
Okay, so guys, we've seen foul play, players upright. We've got shoulder to head contact. Are we seeing this? Sorry guys, I'm not ready to make the decision. Turn the mic off, please. We've got shoulder to head. We've seen this yellow card. Just show because the brunt of the force is on the shoulder, and then it rides up. So we're at a penalty only. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
I would have thought that was a yellow card.
Back to you, Mike.
Okay, we do have foul play, players upright. We've got shoulder to head contact. The brunt of the force is through the body first, and then comes up onto the head. So we're at penalty only. What's that? It's just not a high degree of danger.
So is it a yellow?
No. No, but the force is all through the body.
We take it from a red to a yellow.
Decisions made.
Okay, but I'm just asking the question.
No. We're not agreeing it.
He's within his right to ask the question.
100%. And there's a lot of people, even of a neutral persuasion, watching that who would be absolutely understanding if that was a yellow card, because in terms of consistency, like Finlay has so much time to be lower. There's very little hinge. And he's fortunate that it's not shouldered directly to head, in which case it's an even higher sanction. But anyway, the most pressing matter is that if Connacht are to win this game and pull out of the fire from that penalty, they'll have to do it against 15 with Finlay still out there. It's the captain, Cian Prendergast, that wins the line out. Now can they, against this big Bulls pack, the Praetorian forward pack, find their way to the try line? Still a long way to go when every inch is feeling like a mile. They'll have to wrestle it out now. They're under big pressure.
Tackle now, no hands, Bulls! Onside!
I think it was Theron in there in the thick of things who almost sealed the game for the Bulls with a big turnover, but they wrestled it free just in the nick of time. Massive high tariff on the next few phases here for Connacht, and if it was quiet earlier in the evening, Connacht support, no, it's all on the line now. Bodies on the line, time from 6 metres out. Oh, that's a really poor pass from Devine. He got away with it.
Stay outside!
Living on their wits at times. Stay onside, and did they heed the call? They were quickly off the line again. Connacht would love a penalty advantage to roll the dice here. Just have that little comfort blanket up against Ioane Grobler. That's brilliant. Shoulder to the pump, driving those quads, away they come again. Heffernan couldn't quite find a way through. Darragh, any mistake now will be punished. Will the game over effectively whistle, you feel? Only 2.5 minutes on the clock. They get it away to Ralston. Bulls player on the wrong side, quickly back onto the right side, and on they go again with Prendergast, who's been involved 3 or 4 times in this flurry of phases. Aungier takes it on. It's excellent defence from the Bulls, and it's legal so far anyway. Need to keep their discipline. Connacht need to keep their shape, keep pounding, keep asking the question. Maybe eventually come up with a different question. No way through for Joe Joyce. Is there for Sean O'Brien? Now, Bulls player is affecting the ball coming back on the Connacht side here. And therefore, it's really, really slow. Devine gets it away to Heffernan. A dozen phases. Is there penetration? Is there end product? Is there a match-winning score? Scragged and dragged to the ground, Ralston. Darragh gets it away, trying to get a little bit more impetus. They've got the penalty advantage here. It's taken 15 phases. Now they can roll the dice. Ralston gets it wide. Mack Hansen! Connacht's Lion roars back into action. And Mack Hansen has put Connacht to within a point in the final minute. And we have a conversion to come. Shipped a big knock on the way through. But Hansen finds the line. Have Connacht find the answer?
We've got time.
There's times in the game you want the right people to get the ball at the right time. Matthew Devine to Byron Ralston. He had so much to do here. Every inch of his arm extended into the corner. That's an international finish. That's a finish of a Lion as well. Incredible finish by Connacht.
Sean knocked in to make a name for himself. It's coming around just too much. Agonisingly close.
Yeah.
Encroaching, they're going to retake it.
And not only that, Connor, it doesn't allow time for Bulls to restart the game as well.
Because there was an early charge, they get the opportunity to retake, but no charge this time.
Oh, yes, that's massive, because that takes the opportunity for the Bulls.
Yes. Yeah.
There's been so many big, huge calls from the officials. Mike Adamson has had his hands full all evening. Is the balance about to tip back in Connacht's favour at the crucial time with the clock in the red? And this time he doesn't measure it correctly. It's still turning, and in the end, it wasn't a million miles away, but agonisingly wide.
Try to score with more than a minute, we'll have a restart.
We do have time to restart. Let's just look at the facial expression on Mack Hansen in the act of scoring that try. He does not look comfortable at all.
Guys, time off. I just want to wait for.
But not only was it Mack Hansen's finish that made that try incredible, it was the incredible Bulls defence. Connacht didn't get within 5 yards after the line out. I don't know how many phases, Connor, we went through, but oh my God, it was unrelenting from Connacht. But they were hitting a stone wall, brick wall, for what seemed like forever. And then they got the penalty advantage, that gave them a bit of freedom.
It's a long way up to that Bulls try line. Carl Ford endeavours to eat into some of that ground, but they need to go 60, 70 metres. A big clear out from Jordan Duggan. Matthew Devine needs to be very careful not to get isolated and turned over.
Ball's not out, get back on side, no!
Ball is there. They'll have to run everything here. Try and find something that has eluded them for most of the evening, which is a soft shoulder or a gap in that pretty rigid, stoic Bulls defence. 1 point game, 83rd minute of it. Dylan Tierney-Martin. Sean O'Brien takes it on. Rudolph again goes poaching. Go a little deeper this time. That's nice, beautiful hands into the hands of Shayne Bolton. endeavours to find his captain, knocked on by Cian Prendergast. And all their efforts in the end, in vain. Well, as I said at the very outset, two sides who came here after underwhelming performances and big defeats.